My name is John T. Crawford. I grew up in Rock Hill, South Carolina. I went to Emmett Scott High School and then eventually to Johnson C. Smith University. I majored in physical education and health and was in the upper fourth of my class when I graduated, and I played basketball. Yes, I did.
And what years were you at school? What years were you at Johnson C. Smith?
I was there from 1956 to 1960. My first year, I could not play because I transferred from South Carolina State, so I had to sit out a year.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Why did you leave South Carolina State?
Well, they didn't think I was a very good athlete, at least not scholarship money-wise. So I thought that I was better than they did, so I decided I'd go attend another school.
Why did you pick Johnson C. Smith, or did they come after you?
Well, I picked Johnson C. Smith. They didn't come after me. I picked Johnson C. Smith because it was a Presbyterian school, and I grew up Presbyterian and was very familiar with it and decided that's where I wanted to go. And it wasn't too far from home, and they had a good academic record, and so I wanted to come to Johnson C. Smith. Now, the smaller black colleges get kind of the second tier of athletes. But in 1956, I came to Johnson C. Smith, sat out a year, practiced a lot, and improved. In 1957, my sophomore year there, I played a lot. I started and got into a little problem that year with my timing as I was rebounding. And so another guy came out ahead of me, and for 5 games I did not start. But this guy had to go home for some reason, and he never came back. Well, I never gave up my starting position from that day till the day I left. I was, I call it my job, and I wasn't giving my job to nobody. I didn't care who it was. So I worked that hard, and I was that dedicated. Well, in 1957, I missed 1 day of practice. Well, I missed 3 whole days of practice during my 3 years. And this particular day in 1957, I had to do a term paper. So I asked the coach to be excused so I could get my term paper finished. And he let me do it. And when I came in that evening from the library, my roommate, who was also a ball player and a power forward, came in. He had a black eye. His lips was busted, and he had a bloody nose, Edward Dowdy. And I said, man, what happened? And he said, we got a new guy on the team today, and he kind of beat up on me. I said, wow, he must have tried to kill you.
And so he busted his lip and blacked his eye on the court playing?
Yeah. I mean, he was just that tough and that rugged. He'd hit you with the elbow, and I think he came with the idea that, he had to make the team too, so he had to move some people and create some fear in some folk. And so I went to practice the next day, and he was at practice.
The new guy.
Yeah. And his name was Joseph Crenshaw, Joe Crenshaw. And so I we spoke and we went on to do our drills and so forth, and then it was time to scrimmage. So since he beat up on my roommate so bad, I said, well, I was the best defensive player on the team, so I said, I'm guarding him. And on the first play of scrimmage, his team got the ball. And somehow the ball eventually came to him. He was over on the left hash mark and jumped up. When he jumped up, he fell back, kicked me in the groin, and knocked the bottoms out. I said, darn, he done beat up my roommate, now he's starting on me. And the next play down, his team came down. There was a rebound. And I went up and grabbed it, and he happened to be right over me, right over my shoulder, right behind me, and I made a turn with a right elbow into his jaw, and I tried to break his neck because I played like he played. I played for keeps. And from that moment until he left school a year and a half later, he and I never had any kind of problems. In fact, he taught me a lot in terms of tactics of playground ball, and that turned out to be real important for helping me become the ball player I eventually became. He was one of the best players I'd ever seen. He was about 6'3" and a half, and I was about 6'3". He weighed 170 pounds. I weighed 190 pounds. And we became real good buddies after then.